busting that third nut, you'll kill yourself.
My man.
You'll hurt yourself.
All right.
That's where your biggest mistake a man can make. 2 times is good.
Okay,
That
listen,
third time,
we're about to do the podcast.
that third time will give you a heart attack or something.
Okay, we're going to do the podcast. We're going to keep it appropriate. All right?
yeah,
Is everybody ready to start?
Yeah.
And did we learn our lesson from last time? We got to keep it. This is a sober podcast now.
It's a sober
guess.
podcast.
Okay.
The first time is
You had
good. The
technical
second time is
issues,
decent.
really.
Yeah,
That
I
third time
technically do
ain't
have
nothing
issues.
but a blank.
Well, no.
You
do.
can get that blank.
All right, listen, we're going to start the podcast. Let's get it ready. Ready?
All right.
Here we go. In the HAAS with Nick Ponterio.
How's it going?
Did I say that right?
Yeah.
I did, right?
Yeah.
Okay, this is part 2, and we made some mistakes last time because this is a learning process. So we're going to knock a couple things out. Let's introduce everybody. For those that haven't been with us before, this is a friend of mine, Sean Kelly.
Hola, friends.
Yeah, sound effects.
Yeah, I got the sound
like
effects.
this.
Al, everybody that's a friend of mine, Al. Al sits in. He's a neighborhood bud. We hang out. We drink coffee together. He comes in Auto House. He says, "What's up?" Say hello, Al.
Everything is beautiful with you, Marco.
Okay. Thanks, dude.
Everything is beautiful
So
with
glad
you.
Al's here.
And then, same. And then Nick, thank you for coming back. I felt
problem.
really guilty that I had to drag you
It's
back.
fine.
Part 2.
So, all right. So usually we have these things and we get a little sponsor.
Yes.
But
Mentioned this last
we had a problem with the sponsorship this week, and the problem was my attitude. I didn't want to call anybody. So we still got to give some money to an animal thing. So Auto Haas is the sponsor. We sell recycled Audi and Volkswagen parts, later model stuff, low mileage, fire stuff. We got good stuff. Sean, what are you going to do with this bread? It's $200. We just give the sponsor money to some sort of animal cause. So take that.
Nick, do you have a local
His
animal?
local would not be local to you. That's why you're in
I don't know.
charge.
Staten Island's almost New Jersey, so.
You're not going to go to Staten Island. Just pick one, dude.
All right, I'll think of one.
Okay. And then you post it up on Instagram. You take a selfie because we don't actually trust that you give the people the money. But you did the
Even
last
though
two
I did the
times.
last 2 times.
Okay,
The only
so-
2 times. So I'm 100 for 100 right now.
Doing well.
Technically, he's trustworthy.
Yeah, on paper.
Fair enough. Take the money. All right. Here's where we left off. We left off that I said to you that it's cool that you kept your place just you.
Yes.
And you said my dad is a big influence for that.
Yes.
So I want to continue from there and then get more into the business, and then I want to talk about your move.
Okay.
And some other stuff, and that's what we'll do. So you're a one-man show.
Correct,
You know, you're
yes.
getting the toilet paper on your own and sweeping the floor and doing the polishing.
Everything.
And you want to keep it that way, which I think is a really good idea.
Yeah.
I think is a good idea, and it's easier to manage, and you can close it and go on vacation and, you know, ride your bike or do whatever it is that you want to do.
Yeah.
So I wanted to bring up, and I forget what got cut off last time, but I wanted to bring up, like, what's your favorite thing to work on? And by the way, I'm sorry, this is Jesus, I totally lost my train of thought. Forgive me. Never mind. What's your favorite kind of thing to polish? And for example, what's the first thing that you picked up and you're like, yo, I think I can polish this?
Like in the beginning?
Yeah, like before you even opened up.
So in the beginning, it was, I had a different place. I shouldn't say a different place. I had a shop that did polishing, polished some stuff for me. And they were good, and I was happy with it. And that was at the time when I was still building my car. And when I got it all home, I put it on. You know, it was good, but at that moment, I was trying to raise the bar with the car and with myself and what I was doing on it. So I'm looking at it, and I'm like, I feel like I could do it better. And then I was talking to my friend about it at the time, and I was like, I think I'm just going to redo it myself. Like, it's pretty good. I feel like I could get it better. So the first thing I did was actually some of the parts on my car. I redid them all myself. And then that just spiraled into a couple of friends being like, I need the same stuff done. Like, could I pay you and you do mine? And then it started to snowball from there.
And then what year were you like, yo, I'm making a couple dollars off these guys. Like I could do a thing and
I would say by the second year of business, just because the first year was such a flip-flop, I was sort of trying to figure out. I was offering polishing services, but I was also offering sandblast services full size at the time. So we were doing cars, boats, literally anything. We were doing large scale sandblasting. I thought that polishing wasn't going to really pay the bills. I figured I needed some quicker bread and butter, and I thought sandblasting would do that. And it ended up being polar opposite. The polishing thing was just way more of a proper avenue for me to go down, I guess you could say. So in the beginning, I kind of invested more time and money into sandblasting, and I realized I wasn't making enough money, and I was kind of like turning down more polishing, I guess, in the beginning. And then I just started to look at everything, and I was like, I need to make a shift here, because I had a lot of money invested in sandblast equipment. So in my head, I was like, maybe I should downscale this, sell this equipment, get some money back, put it towards this side, try this. I could always go back, or keep the equipment. But long story short, I ended up selling all the large-scale blasting stuff. I downsized it, and then I focused more on polishing, and then it just spiraled from there.
And it got bigger and bigger and bigger.
Every year got
That's
better.
really cool that you were able to do that so quickly, because my habit would not be that. I would go, we're not doing that good with sandblasting. I got to make it work. And you just went, I think I could just step over here instead.
They're kind of like, I don't know why in the beginning I chose to do both. I don't really know what it was, because the original thought was just to open up a sandblast shop. Everyone needed sandblasting, and a lot of powder coaters didn't have large-scale sandblast setups. So I figured I could kind of corner a market and just do it for everybody. But the polishing thing just strangely was like lingering with me, and it ended up being really where I was supposed to be in the beginning. And it's funny because my dad gave me the money to start, and even till now he laughs about it with me sometimes. He's like, we spent all that money on that sandblast shit. You got rid of all of it. He's like, and then the polishing stuff you kept, like, it was a third of the cost of what all that was. He's like, you could have started out at a way lower margin for what it was going to cost to open up and keep a nice nut of money in the bank.
But I didn't.
But I didn't, and I didn't know. I guess you don't know what's going to happen, so...
No, you have to be
It's,
willing
trial
to
and
adjust.
error,
Yeah, you have
right?
to be willing to adjust.
And adapt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you see it, especially, I can see it in this industry right now, particularly because last year was a really good year for almost everybody. And
Yeah, I think it
this
was.
year got a little rougher for everybody.
Yeah.
We had a challenging year at HAAS, and I can see other large companies that are changing their policies, and you can go, oh, they're tightening up too.
Yeah.
And you know who Northside is? Do you know who Northside?
do I know that?
So there's like
parts,
yeah,
right?
they
Yeah,
sell
Northside
new
parts.
parts.
Yeah.
So they're not doing deliveries if you don't order a certain amount monthly now.
Okay.
And they never did that before.
Right.
So you're like, oh, these guys are adjusting too. So you have to always adjust.
I think change is important. If you're at the same pace constantly, I don't think you're opening up windows and avenues for your business or your life to grow. I think you have to accept change to certain extents.
Sean, you do well with change, don't you?
That's a weird question to throw at somebody right now.
Hit me.
Probably not.
No? That's all right.
That's okay though.
Admittedly,
Speaking of change, you do a lot of motorcycle stuff now. It's kind of big change up from doing
Big change, yes.
car stuff. Is it easier or harder?
It
car
is.
stuff?
It is easier. It is way more fun, and the clientele is a lot more realistic on what they're paying to have done than car people.
They bring like beer too. You're like, hell yeah.
So I'm actually really liking it a lot. I'm loving it. I'm focusing on motorcycle stuff a lot more than I ever have, and I'm kind of putting it in front of other things.
So I thought this was cool for everybody to know. Who would you say? I don't want to ask who your target customer is, because you're
Okay.
going to go, I'm trying to polish and make money. But what customer can you go, I do a really good job servicing this? Maybe it's wheels. Maybe it's like what do you're like, I kill it with that.
Polishing lips to 3-piece wheels or like 2-piece wheels. That's like at this point in my career,
Would you say you're better at that than most others, than many others?
if you forced me to pick something to say that, I would say polishing lips or polishing turbos. For whatever reason, I don't know. It just
Turbos?
yeah, turbo housings. I do a lot of turbo housings.
I see you taking stuff apart.
Yeah.
And we spoke about this last time, but it got cut off. How far, because we want people to watch this, if anybody watches it or doesn't, and go, oh, I get where I fit in. So
Yeah.
last time we spoke about, I see you taking like a lot of throttle bodies apart and stuff like that.
Yeah.
What's the furthest that you'll go that somebody can bring you something and you can kind of break it down a little bit?
It sort of depends on the part. The throttle body thing just comes from years of practice. If you ask any polisher, when they do a throttle body, there's sort of one whole side of it that really gets neglected, and the reasoning is the plastic cover. So obviously, if you're going to polish something and that plastic cover's on, it's going to melt and get screwed up and all deteriorated. So instead of giving out throttle body service and it just being half-assed like most people's have been in the past, I said, you know what, I'm going to take the time to learn how to properly take these covers off, make sure I'm not damaging any internals, tape them up, and be able to get this whole side of it better than the rest, which I do. I don't think there's any throttle body that I haven't taken apart to a certain extent. They all come apart at least a little.
What would be an example of something that someone might bring you that you go, yeah, that's more than I'm willing to take apart?
A supercharger. I polish them all the time, but I tell the customers you have to take them apart because I don't do a more traditional way of polishing, which is mounting the part to a table and using hand buffing machines and all that. I hold the part. So if a supercharger was together, for one, it would be extremely heavy, and I can't hold it or prep it the way I want to. And partially, if I was to do what's called catching an edge, which is where you hit it wrong in the machine and it wants to throw itself away from you, if it was to hit the floor, it could crack because you're talking about a lot more weight having its force thrown at the floor, so it's going to hit it harder. So it could crack or I could damage it. So something like superchargers, I make people take apart. If someone wanted me to polish a transmission case, I would do it, but you got to take the transmission apart. You know, things like that.
Is it appropriate to ask what something like that might cost, or is that something you...
A supercharger?
More a transmission.
A transmission?
Is that... Or is that something, I'd really rather speak to the person? Or...
Let's say a gearbox and a bell housing to like a VR6 transmission. For me to do it, you're talking at least $1,200.
Wow.
Yeah. A supercharger is usually like $1,000. Don't forget, they also come apart into about 6 to 8 pieces.
I say wow, by the way, because I had no idea what you were going to say.
I mean, I'm a little higher than a lot of shops are, but I also put quite a bit more effort into it than others do.
It certainly looks like you do a great job.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
When are you moving?
It's looking like December.
Hold on one second. Al, did you have anything on your mind? Did you have anything to say? I didn't want to cut you off.
No,
In here.
I would like to know if he's a mechanic or something.
No, remember last time you said, does he work for Volkswagen? And I said, no,
Yes.
this is Nick. He polishes parts.
Right. Oh.
So if you had some metal parts, he makes shit shiny.
Right.
So he
Okay.
makes stuff. Could you pull up a picture of polishing for Al and bring him on
Yeah,
board?
or like even the Instagram.
I'm really sorry, Al. I should have mentioned. He's going to show it to you. So
But yeah.
January is a big move for you.
Yeah, it's looking like December, January. That's when I should be out. I think I'm going to close for a month to kind of get my...
That's a good idea.
Yeah, I want everything not only done right, but properly set up in the new shop.
You want to enjoy the setup,
I do.
too.
I want to enjoy the process.
Let me tell you something. That's my biggest mistake. I don't enjoy anything. I look
Why?
back.
Like from the past, you mean? Or
No, I'm saying like that setup, the setup that you're about to do. You're about to move the shop, and you're going to set it up so it's as comfortable as it can be for you. And you probably want it a little different than what you have now. That sounds so fun to me.
Yeah.
But I know that if I were doing it, I'd be like, I got to blast through this. I put so much pressure, and I look back over so many years, and we tell all these stories and this fun stuff, and I'm like, damn. That was so fun, but at the time it didn't seem fun.
Anyone who's like, what's it like when you start, like, with the business, I tell everyone, I'm like, just take your time. There's no, the only deadline that exists is the one you put in your head, and it's not real.
You really got to have fun, and the fun can get lost.
Yeah,
the fun can get
lost.
lost.
It gets lost quick. It gets lost quick.
Tell us about the move. You're moving. Can you say where?
Yeah, so we're gonna be in Monroe Township, New Jersey. That's
Okay.
where the new shop will be.
Okay.
The address information will be
We
a
don't
little
need that.
different, than how we normally do it. Once we move, it's going to be by appointment only, and when you make your appointment is when you'll be given the address for the drop-off point. It won't be public anymore.
That sounds shady.
Well,
No, I'm just fucking with you. I'm fucking with you.
being that it's on my own property,
Well,
I just
I
want
think
the
we need to
reach
say
be
that,
a little
yeah.
bit tighter. So yes,
And eventually there's a lot of people will know where it is, right?
yes, and the new process that will go on for a client to be able to come to us and bring something, the changes that are being put in place is basically just to set the tone. I think if you're going to do something like work from home, it obviously can come with a lot of gray areas, but if you set the tone correctly and people don't overstep it, it can work like anything else.
Well, the shop will be separate from your
Yes,
house.
it'll be
You're not
completely
working out of
separate.
your garage.
No.
You've got a larger property. You're going to
Yes.
have a shop. Is
Completely
the garage,
separate.
is the facility built already, I assume?
No, it's not.
No. Is that why you were pushing that dirt around the other day?
That's for the slab. It also
I have a problem with that.
Why?
I feel like all that dirt was going to run down the hill.
Actually, only one small portion of it did from all this heavy rain that we got.
Okay.
It rutted out an area. So what I did is I basically filled that area with a lot of big rocks and broken concrete, so that this time, the second time around, if the water starts to run into it, it'll run through it and not deteriorate it. The main reason for this issue is I'm not putting a retaining wall behind where this is going, and that's because after the building them up, am going to continue to build this mound out even further for what's to come in the future for in front of the shop.
Oh, you have something else planned?
I have more planned. The
Did-
building will be extended down the line as well.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
And you got architectural drawings and town approval, or you have to go through all that shit?
I have to go. I have a lot
Yo,
of
wait a minute, Nick.
pre-approval.
That's not a lot of time to get built.
No, so this is okay. So this is what makes it all quick. So the building that I'm ordering and who I'm getting it from, as soon as you place your order, it is delivered and installed in 4 weeks. So if I make the order tomorrow, it's coming in 4 weeks.
But the slab has to be existing.
Correct.
And you have to have power there and water.
No. You don't have to, but you could.
Okay. Do you need water in your shop? I'd imagine you do.
This one will not have water. It will have like a hose hookup, but that's it. There won't be a bathroom in the shop. I don't want any square footage dead towards something as stupid as a bathroom. I know that might
That's fine.
sound, I got the house so many feet away, I'll just walk inside.
And you want to be able to say no when they're like, "Do you have a bathroom here?" You're like, "No."
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. So but back with the dirt thing, I had a small issue. It's pretty much sorted. I could have another issue, but it from the looks of it, I'm not going to. And then within 2 weeks from now, I should be able to start getting the slab down, which my family member is doing for me. So that's gonna. I kind of have everything set up, and it's gonna snowball very fast. So although it seems like I'm doing this very soon, it's all gonna.
Yeah, you'll have
it's all
at
gonna,
it.
It's all gonna happen.
You're gonna go
fast.
at it.
Yeah.
Al, did you get a look at what he actually does? He polishes.
Looking at that.
Yeah.
Did you have any questions pertaining to the polishing?
Just polishing all rims. I mean,
He polishes a lot of rims.
Rims, car
That look-
parts,
it look
motorcycle
good. I
parts.
like that.
Thank you.
I like that.
A little
Yeah,
bit of everything.
and he does a really good job, Al.
I can see that.
He does a really good job.
I can see that. That looked great. That really.
When is the last time we sat down, we spoke about Timbo's. Hold on one second.
Yeah.
Did you reset this? Because I feel like the time is not correct on here. Huh? I unplugged what? Huh?
Hey guys.
Okay. Anyway, I had to send Timbo a message, and I was like, yo, I sent him like the link or something, and I'm like, yo, dog, I feel a little out of pocket. Like I kind of talked shit about the carpet in your car, like that it was, and he came back and he goes,
But wait, did that whole part
That-
get cut off, or was it on there? I
that
can't
was on
remember.
there.
Oh, it was on
Yeah.
there. Yes.
And he goes,
Shout out to Timbo.
I didn't want it tan either. I wanted it to be purple. And I'm like, yo, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Timbo's
I was
a
hitting
man.
some ankles up with the bug spray.
with
Thank
the
you.
off spray.
Al, you're getting the bug spray on the jeans, I see.
The heavy deep.
Yeah, I see what I see.
That's how you know a bad mosquitoes
do what
and
you
it's
do.
like through jeans.
When's the car going up?
I just submitted information.
Everybody's asking me what the number is, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't know, dude. He didn't say.
I just submitted information with a reserve, so we'll see if they accept it, or if they come back with too low of a reserve, I'm not putting it on there. I'll just try to list it on my own at a specific price, and if it doesn't move quickly, then I'm just going to part it out.
Why don't
have-
you say? Oh, you want to recoup the bread for the project?
I want to take the money and use it towards new equipment for the shop.
That's cool.
I'd rather see that money go into something different that I want to do with the shop,
Yeah, coffee.
and let it make me more money, versus just be what it is right now.
Do you see yourself building another car one day?
No, but I'm going to build a couple motorcycles. I've already started one.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Hold on one second. This guy's just handing me Starbucks.
This is m-
Did
this
we
is
get
mine.
cake pops?
No,
I thought I
Damn.
ordered cake pops. It was like $50. No cake pops.
I like cake pops.
I've had plenty of time. I'm not. That car is not new. It's not new to me. I don't remember if we touched that last time or not. But I've owned that car since 2010. So it's not. And I had a Mark II before that. So
Obama.
And you had that red Mark II that I had as well.
I did. I hated to have to sell that, but I won't let myself hoard.
That car
or
was
have
tough.
More than one.
That car was tough because it
It needed a paint job.
wasn't quite. It was really clean.
It was perfect potential. If you were gonna say I want a 16 valve, I want to keep it original, and I want to own it for the rest of my life, that was the perfect one to use. It could have used a paint job, and it was missing a very few parts.
It was nice.
It was a very nice car, but
Two guys flew out to Chicago,
okay,
and
then drove it back.
and
right?
then he helped me find that.
Yes.
So all right, Ramon
right.
Ramon helped me find
Shout
that
out
car.
Ramon.
Shout out to Ramon. Helped me find that car, and I'm like, yo, can you go get it though? Because I don't want to deal with any of
Right,
that.
he told me that.
And he went out there and he brought it back, and I had it for a little bit of time, and then he ended up with it, whatever the case might be.
He didn't want to sell it to me at first. If I remember correctly, I don't even think he really wanted to sell it. But I was like, please let me get it. I was like, I just want to get one, put it away, and check on it in 10 years from now, just to have at the side. But at the time, he ended up selling it to me. But at the time, I was dumping so much money into the white car, and I was doing a lot with the business at the time, and I was like, I'm touching.
I don't need two cars.
I'm touching too much water, testing too many waters
Yeah.
right now. I'm just not being smart, And I had other things on mine, so
May I ask what you might have done differently if you built that car again?
the white car.
Yeah. But I don't want you to put something out there and then the auction doesn't go as high because they're like, eh.
I kind of wish I just never built it altogether. I really wish I just never did it. I wish I built a car. I just don't. I don't think I wish it was that one. I kind of missed the first Mark II I had, which really it needed a lot of fixing. But the guy I sold it to still has it till this day.
What
he
color
still
is it?
takes it out.
Or
It was
was
a
it?
bright blue metallic.
Okay.
86 VR swap Mark II. Some kid in PA built it, who I ended up talking to later on. It was a cool car, and it wasn't. You know what it was? I thought about. I had a Honda Ruckus. You know what those are.
Yes,
yeah.
I do.
And I was strapping my bike to it going to the skate park every day. And I was loving life. I had a shitty Volvo that got me everywhere I needed to go. And I had this Ruckus. I was loving life. And my friends had Volkswagens, which we talked about last time. And I remember telling them back then, I was like, I think I want to get a motorcycle or maybe like a couple dirt bikes or something. I just wanted to keep the two-wheel thing going. And they were like, I'm telling you, give this a shot. Cars are a lot of fun. See what you like. And we touched this last time. All my friends had Volkswagen. So I got thrown into it, and they're great. I'm not mutting them at all. I'm not mutting my car at all.
I like them.
I love them.
I don't have a cool one
I'm always
anymore,
gonna,
but
I'm always
like
gonna
them.
have a soft spot. I've just come to the point where I'm like, I've been like, when I'm talking to friends and stuff about this, I'm like, I've realized that cars are a huge paperweight as far as like a project and stuff like that goes, or let's say you have a race car or whatever the case may be that you literally only race. It's just a big piece of paperweight to lug around or find space for. And I'm just starting to see that it's not what I want to have.
You know what
in
I
my
find?
corner
You know how
anymore.
how a good relationship I think they have with their cars. Adam has his car, right? You know,
Adam has a great. So it's funny because we talk about our cars, and sometimes
it's the opposite of your car,
yes,
right?
It is.
But Adam's
It is.
hobby, and I think he'd mostly agree to this. Adam's hobby is tinkering with the car.
Yeah.
So he's, Adam's a hard worker. He's always got to be doing something. So, he'll go do a job, he'll work on the car, whatever. So if your hobby is actually working on the car, I think that's pretty good.
That was my biggest problem. I realized down the line, more towards when I was finishing the car, because I was already at a good pace with the shop. I realized I was like, I don't really love this anymore, but I love what I'm doing to this. I was so stuck in the build, like I didn't even really want to see the end of the tunnel and the finish line. It was so much fun to go the extra mile with every part every day with something new on the car.
Because you're polishing that part thinking, my
Yeah.
shit is going to be the nicest.
I mean,
Right, Al?
when you're
That's
building
just like
cars,
this is my
it is
God.
an art form. So you know what I mean? I guess you could say I got lost in the artistry. The building part was more exciting for me. And that's really why I started the shop. I really wanted to have a part in other people's cars. And I wanted it to get crazy to the point where I was doing high-end stuff, which I'm lucky that I'm able to do today. I'm not allowed to talk about a lot of it, which sucks because I can't get to really showcase it. And like
I like very much what you showcase. I think
Thank you.
You have a great social media. It shows what you do. It shows. I went over this last time.
Yeah.
I think you do
Not
awesome.
enough BMX clips.
Well, we're
honestly.
going to get to BMX, Sean. We're going to get there. So, but we can also say, I can't totally let you get away with that, and I wish I didn't build it because you
Yeah.
started your business from it,
right.
And
right.
I did many things with cars that people were like, "Don't do that, dude."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Nah, I'm doing this," and I had to go through that to really understand. All right, I don't
Yeah.
want to do this
Yeah.
again.
But you had to go through it. So
I did.
That's why if people like, if they ask me about it, I tell everyone, I'm like, the juice was definitely worth the squeeze. Like, even after everything we went through with it, at the end, when it was done, when you go on one test drive after you build a car, all the pain goes away. It's like crossing the finish line. You're excited, you're motivated again, even if you were completely beat down by it a day prior. It definitely goes away. I have a friend who just finished his Mark II, and he was test driving it, and I messaged him. I was like, it was awesome to test drive it, right? And he was like, yeah, it was great. He was like, I had a couple issues. I was like, yeah, but that doesn't matter. Just the fact that you turned that shit on and rolled it out that garage.
It
was
feels
like,
crazy.
It was like,
It feels
you're letting
crazy.
your fucking dick hang after all that work.
Yo,
That's
I,
the best
I,
way to
I
put
did,
it,
I did a Mark II VR6, which I could not have done without the help of some friends. And the community was a little different back then, or maybe it's just
Definitely.
because I was more involved then.
Definitely.
But I ran into a dude at like a Dunkin' Donuts, and he ended up helping, and he's like, "Oh, you're into Volkswagens." He ended up doing the wiring in my car. That's kind of how it used to be, a little bit more. Am I wrong in saying that? That's how I felt that it was. Everybody would kind of help each other with their cars more.
Yes, and I also think that I think my car represents an older era. I don't really feel the kids today. I don't see them being very worried about Shea Bay cars. I don't feel like they're praised or idolized the same way as they used to be. I mean, when I got into it, they were a big thing, and if you had one or did one, it was it was well known and it was liked. It was something that a lot of people wanted to do and achieve. I don't think it's at the same level anymore. And I think part of that goes with people are seeing that the enjoyment factor of the car can kind of not be enough or go out the window. If you spend upwards of $100,000 on a car and you do all this crazy work, you kind of get scared to drive it sometimes because you're like, it's going to start to depreciate. Like you're going to get rock chips in that paint job. There's nothing you can do.
I don't enjoy that aspect. I don't.
It's a tough love. After I got the first scratch on the car, I said I don't care from here out. If there's a scratch, we're not that good at this.
Well, we're gonna get kind of good.
Listen,
So, I was
nothing's
hanging out
graded
with my
first.
friends next door before this, and they're like, "You got a lot of views." And then they go, "Yo, what you doing, Mark?" They go, "What you doing, Mark?" I said, "I'm going to do this little podcast thing. We're just starting something. We're learning how to do something." And they go, "You getting a lot of views?" And I'm like, "Nah." And I had to answer that because most things I can answer with a little bit of arrogance and be
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, we killing it." And I'm like, we seeing like 50, 55. You know what I'm talking
that
about?
I don't
last
think
one
my
we did
girlfriend
was
watched
like
it.
75, I think.
Yeah, I wonder how to. I think you have to keep do it consistently, but I'm still figuring out how to schedule it.
Yeah.
And
I don't know anything about YouTube at all.
I don't either.
I really wish I did.
I'm
'cause
never.
Everyone makes
Are we
a ton of
recording
money on
right
it.
now?
Yep.
All right, patch it back together.
Yep.
Nick, I don't know where we left off. Al stepped out. Everyone.
Just new question.
You're moving the business. You're going to be there in January.
We were talking about-
talking about the car.
Yeah.
Man,
yeah,
we're
yeah.
lost.
We touched the car enough.
Yeah, we're good on the car.
Are you changing your license plates from New York to New Jersey? That's a big
That's a
question.
great
right now.
question. That's a good one.
Let you know.
So
let
to
people know where you're
That's a
from.
stupid.
To reap
That's
the
a stupid
benefits,
question, Sean.
my
That's a
wife-
stupid question.
That's all right. I think it's a good one. To reap the benefits, my wife changed hers. I'm not going to change mine. So we get the Easy Pass benefits of New York and New Jersey.
That's a good question, Sean.
Thank you.
Here's a better
Which makes a
question.
difference.
I don't go anywhere. I have no idea. I see the Easy Pass bills on the van.
I just
but-
pay. I know you just pay it. Like you don't even think about it.
No.
Yo, them shits went up.
They go up.
Yeah,
up,
especially I got a commercial vehicle. That shit goes up so
hate
much
that
money.
shit.
I don't.
What's a better question? You said.
A better question. Let's hit the BMX stuff a lot
Okay.
because that's something that we have in common and that we like a lot. You got a brake cable on your bike.
Yes.
Since you didn't used to.
No. Started out with them, took them off, and then they basically never went back on till now.
Yo,
Once you reach a certain age, you got to put the brakes on.
this
I heard.
is totally left field.
Yeah.
Are you friends with that dude that used to ride BMX that went to Maine and then he's got a really big following? Yo, I'm sorry, I don't remember his name.
Maine.
I've seen you he's got all those. He's got like a bunch of low, rotten looking cars, and he does a podcast, and he's a musician, and he rides BMX. Come on, you got to.
Oh, John Ludwig.
Yeah,
You're talking about
I'm
John?
sorry,
Yeah.
I have.
So I know
Like Chris
John.
Duncan.
I know John through BMX forever, and then the company, one of the companies I rode for, he was on that team
What company?
prior. The Take,
Okay.
which FBM inherited after Jeff Harrington stopped owning it.
And do you guys hang or do you ride?
We talk sometimes. If he comes down this way for car shows or something, like we both went to First Class Fitment, and when we were there, he was like, "I want to ride tomorrow. Do you want to go meet up at a skate park?" So we actually got to ride together, which we did for like the first time in probably 16 years.
I used to, you know how you get stuck watching somebody and then
Yeah.
you kind of just move. I used to
Yeah,
watch
yeah,
him
yeah.
like religiously.
Shout out to John. He's a
And-
great bike rider.
And
Does cool
he does
stuff
a lot
with
of cool
cars.
stuff too.
Yeah, he does a lot of cool stuff.
And when I stopped looking at his stuff, just because I saw something else and started looking at that,
Yeah,
he was like getting real fit and getting his bike skills back together, kind of riding some random prefab
Yeah.
park. And what does he really do? He's a podcaster. He's a musician. What does he do?
He touches a lot of different things, but he does have a laser engraving thing. So he does like a lot of leather key rings or like acrylic stuff. He tends to do a lot of trophy stuff or promotional stuff, but like Rotiform sells keychains, like he does the keychains.
Oh, okay.
I don't have any right now, but I usually give away keychains. I did for a long time. He
And they're
did all
made
the
by him?
keychains. Yeah, he did them all for me.
And they're like a high-end keychain.
It's
not
a
like-
nice leather keychain.
Yeah.
And I used to just for it's funny because he's like, you're not selling them. I'd spend good money on them. I used to give them away. If you shipped work in to get done,
Yeah.
I put one in your box. And
I've
just
never
on the
been
way,
real good
like,
at selling stuff like that.
I'm not either. So every time I make shirts, I'm like, I'm selling them this time. I give them all the way. Every
Yo,
time.
I used
always
to
give them away.
I felt kind of weird. We used to put a lot of T-shirts out.
Yeah.
Like you would go to Waterfest 10, 12, 13 years ago.
You
it
had a
was-
lot.
It was like a sea of Auto HAAS shirts. I'll claim that we had more shirts there than anyone else,
Yeah.
which is irrelevant. But I never really sold any. I never wanted to.
It's promotion.
It
so,
felt kind of
you know.
weird to me. Like, here, give me your money, buy my shirt, and I'd like to one day.
I think everyone likes getting one for free too. It's
Yeah,
such
it's
it's a
nice.
nice gesture, you know. And if you have a business, it's promotion. If
We
someone's
had
gonna
those
wear your shirt-
masks that people were. Did you ever
Yeah.
see those
I
masks?
think I did. Yeah.
Patterson Strangler
Yeah.
masks.
Yo, it was a ski mask
Yeah.
that had Auto HAAS on the face, right?
That's awesome.
Did you ever see that?
I think so, if I
Let me-
remember correctly.
Can you pull up a picture? Pull up Bad Wolf on your phone because he wears one of the masks. Just so you're keen on what we're talking about. But anyway, I'll tell you the story. Is what's that football player's name that killed himself? Hernandez, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so
yeah.
there was a Netflix documentary, the Hernandez
I saw that.
documentary, right? And I was addicted to it. I watched all 4 back to back. And there was one of the football players, forgive me, everybody, I don't know about football, that wrote like the scripture on his face. It
Yeah.
said, like, I think it was Tim Tebow. I don't know any of the names. I think that was it.
Okay.
And he had like John 3:15 or something like that. And I'm watching the Hernandez documentary, and I'm like, yo, I got to get something on people's faces. And I'm like, how can we put Auto
you did
HAAS
the
on
ski
somebody's
mask.
face? And I was like, ski mask.
That's a great idea, honestly.
Now,
You should
hold
bring them
on.
back.
I will. When we did the masks, sir, in the corner, good idea or bad idea? Yo, every single person, because I run stuff by my friends, right? I'm like, yo,
Yeah.
what do you think about this? Bad idea. Bad idea.
That
bad
means
idea.
that means you should do it though.
Bad idea. Yo, the number one bad idea person, not that really the number one, but it was really funny, is Adam's wife. We were sitting on the couch, and I was like, yo, what do you guys think of this idea? And she's like, no, terrible. And I was like, yo, fuck you guys. I'm making these masks. And like, as a matter of fact, I had a friend in here once that used to hang out in here. And he's like, yo, you can't really be doing that in this neighborhood and this and that. And like 3 days later, he ran in and he's like, yo, get me one of them masks real quick. And I'm like, yo, dog, you told me how terrible it is.
And now you want
the
one.
second I had them made, everybody said send me one.
See?
But up front, it was a bad idea. So, BMX.
BMX.
You're riding? You feeling good on the bike?
I'm riding. My knee is torn, so I do need knee surgery. So
What's torn?
that's the best part. I'm still don't know because I never went and got the MRI. It's totally torn. I'm not sure if it's my meniscus
How long ago?
and my ACL. Almost 2 years now.
Okay, mine's torn.
Yeah.
All of them. ACL, MCL, PCL.
I'm pretty sure it's my meniscus.
4 years ago, I tore it. I got the MRI. They
Okay.
said, yo, you need surgery. And I
Right.
was like, probably not going to do that.
It does the whole like clicking thing if you put it a certain way. Like it's
Mine
torn.
swelled up like a huge.
You know what's weird? I actually tore it at Sayreville, and I fell, and my wife was there because she rides her bike around the park. I'm hobbling out of there. She's like, "What's wrong?" I'm like, "I just tore my knee." And she's like, "How do you know?" I was like, "I'm telling you, it's torn."
It's a weird
I
injury.
heard,
I don't feel
I
right.
heard and felt it pop. Like it's done, and I was like, "You got to drive home. I can't even walk." It was bad, but I don't know if yours did. But as far as being able to like walk on it again, it happened quick. Like I was only down for like a day or two.
The
and then
swelling
I was
had
like,
to go
I
down.
can-
Mine was like 10
yeah.
days.
I was like, oh, I can walk.
Mine was
I'm
like 10
okay.
days. I did it at the Brooklyn Pump Track, and I'm like, I remember it happened,
Yeah.
and I'm like, I'm gonna be all right. Just give me like 10 minutes, and I'll ride again. And I was like, I started shivering somehow.
I'm gonna go
and it was
to
hot.
a doctor over the weekend to just fully know what's going on and get an opinion, and then if I need surgery, I'll consider it.
You're taking the route that I'm taking.
Yeah.
I don't think it's the best route.
I don't think it's the best
Okay,
route either.
that's
no,
cool.
no. Oh, it's
And
it's
you'll probably
stupid.
still take it, but you
it's
should.
stupid.
Okay.
But that's okay. But sometimes you do stupid things.
We're not telling everybody that gets hurt to
But
not.
yeah, I'm riding a lot, more than I ever have in a long time. I'm
That's
trying
cool.
to ride as much as I can.
You came up with a pretty. Who's pulling on the table? The dog's whacking the shirts. You came up with a pretty heavy crew of BMX riders. Some big names.
Yeah.
Do you hang out with them at all anymore? Do you ride with them?
A lot of them live in Cali now, so no. And then some of them I don't speak to at all. But some of them I do speak to, and then whenever we do, it's usually like a 2-hour phone call just because we haven't seen each other in so long.
Do you ride with Dom Simoncini? Is that how I
Yeah.
say that?
Yeah, I ride with Tom sometimes.
I
Tom's
like
a great
him.
rider.
I like his style.
Yeah, Tom's a good rider. He's
Yeah.
Augie Simoncini's cousin.
Yeah.
And I grew up with Augie, so I ride with Dom.
Don't let the dog tear all this shit up under the table.
Dom's one of the younger generation kids I ride. Like, if I was going to go ride and I was in Staten Island, he'd probably be the first person I'd
Al's back.
I've never spoken to him. Yo, get the dog over there in the back, please. I know we're making a mess of this. We're going to have to turn this podcast off now. We got people climbing under the table. Al, you can walk directly through. Throw those over at me. Throw those over at me.
This is awesome to watch. From
Give me
the other
that.
side.
There you go. And then just come and sit back down. And I know how much change you owe me, so let's be real.
But yeah, Dom's one of them.
Dom won the Tizio Jam mini ramp thing a couple years
Did.
ago.
You want to talk about the Tizio Jam real
Oh
quick?
man,
Yeah, real
I
quick,
guess.
we got the Tizio Jam
Just in
coming up.
case.
Sit
That's
down.
coming
Al.
up September 2nd. I think not this Saturday, but next Saturday at 1 o'clock at Joe Tizio Bike Park in Bloomfield. To do like best trick on the grind box for some money. Best trick over the mini ramp.
And you
spine
kind
for
of
some
run
money.
this, so to speak, or
Allegedly,
have
yeah.
a say in it.
Up until the day it starts, and
You've been
then
doing
it's
it
a
for a
collective
while.
effort. But I was kind of going to shit for a couple of years, so I don't know. Just bothered
Rest in
people
peace
one day.
to the legend.
I was just like, all right, I'll talk to Cult BMX or whoever the hell it was, and like I just started emailing people, and it's fun. We do it every year, but it's going
Do you
down.
have an address for the skate park or not so much?
It's Joe Tizio Bike Park off JFK in Bloomfield. There's not a real like physical address. It's the only skate park in Bloomfield.
So if you looked it
if
up
you
on
can't
Google,
find it,
there's not
right
if you
up
can't
on
find
Google
it, don't
Maps.
come.
Okay.
But shout out to HAAS for sponsoring Animal Bikes, Merit, myself, Scruffman Bikes. Shout out to Scruff. That's about it. You guys should come have some fun and win this money. I also got Jeff Zielinski's book, Aeroscans, for top 3 rider trophies. So I think that's
That's
pretty cool
awesome.
too. Yeah, it's all like old school shit. George D and Grimaldo and Ralph, and get different insight from Jeff.
George D got some parts here today. George D's going to sit down for
Bike
a
parts?
We
podcast.
mentioned him last time.
George D's going to sit down with us here. He thinks he's not, but he's going to sit down because George D texted me about some parts for his car. He goes, "Yo, what about that RS3 bumper?"
Just
And I
Mr.
go-
TM.
He goes, "What about the RS3 bumper?" And I go, "Podcast." And I'm just going to stop selling him parts at some point, and he'll come sit down.
Oh, good
We
luck with
said
that.
this, and I said this in the last conversation, but
think
best
he-
crooked grinds ever in BMX history.
I think he's going to be great.
George
I
D.
think he's done a lot of crazy things. He whatever.
He's
And
a great example.
He is, and
Great
he's an
example.
Audi master.
Humble
tech.
person, great example.
Terrible texter. He is not a good texter, but that's okay. What else do we have to touch on? Yo, I had a question just about the business, and maybe somebody's going to come to you, right?
Okay.
And you're a little on the pricier end because you do a high quality job, so you might not be the polisher for everybody.
Right.
Somebody might eventually go, "Yeah, I just want this a little shinier than it is,
Yeah.
not to spend $800."
Yeah.
Spit on it.
Sean, I was almost gonna say, like, for those people who don't want to spend with you, can you tell them maybe what to get and try it on their own?
Yeah. I mean,
Right? Like,
yeah.
what do you like?
It's pretty.
Yo, Nick, I want this polished. I don't really want to spend a bunch of money. You're going to go, yo, why don't you try and do it? You might like it. What do I buy?
It's real simple. If you're gonna just try to repolish something, and you're not going to invest in the proper tools, or you don't have the proper tools, it's just back to the simplest method, which is just getting some liquid metal polish, a microfiber, and you start scrubbing at that thing. If it's something that was polished and is just all dull and, you know, lost its luster, which isn't like a bad, it's not a
What
bad
about
technique.
Never Dull? What
Never
about
Dull works great.
Yo,
Never
Never
Dull's
Dull
good stuff.
smells
I'm
so
a big
good.
fan of Mother's polish.
Yeah.
I think it's a good product. It's, you know, if any customer's like, hey, you did my valve cover last year, you know, it's just got some water stains on it, I usually tell them, just get some liquid polish and some microfibers and just, you know, give it a good scrub, clean it up. Mother's is a good, like, quick stop at AutoZone. You can get it anywhere polish. And then if you want something a little more aggressive that's higher end, Adams Detailing makes a 2-step liquid polish that's really good. I use it a lot for certain stuff. Turtle Wax makes a couple of good chrome cleaners that are actually really good for cleaning chrome. Hidden secret is you also can clean your chrome with Windex. Chrome loves Windex.
Is there anything? I'm jumping a little bit back into the business.
Yeah, it's okay.
Because I really want people to have the best understanding of when to come to you and how and why and all that type of thing. And you know, some people don't. You know, if you call us for a 92 GTI part, I'm sorry, we just don't have it.
just don't have it.
But if you call us for a 2018 Q7 part, yo, we probably got that.
Right.
So, you know, if I could steer people to you, is there anything that you just don't want to do or don't do or yo, don't bring me, I ain't polished.
Oh, I don't do, so we don't do stuff off like semi trucks, like 18-wheelers and stuff like
because
that.
of the size?
Not yes and no.
You have a problem with that, don't you?
A lot of that, because of the size.
I'm just kidding.
A lot of that stuff is done, because it's so big, is done with in a hand tool method. They'll use like handheld buffers and stuff like that. I don't do that. I do everything on a pedestal buffer, meaning I hold the part. I don't hold.
Would
the
you
tool.
be interested in adding that? Is it
No,
That's
it's
cool.
just not an avenue I want to go down.
Cool.
You know, it's just not for me. And it's weird because guys that do truck stuff, that's generally all they want to do, and that's like the market that they corner.
It's crazy.
You know?
There's so many kind of niches within polishing.
There is.
Right?
There's a lot. There's a lot. I'd say I touch a lot of areas, but that's not one of them. So if I had to give an example. that
So
would
no
definitely
truck
be it.
parts.
What about boats? Nautical?
I do some stuff for boats, but again,
That
sometimes
was cool.
Yeah, sometimes it gets to be a little crazy. Sometimes people want like the railing structure that is over and around the boat, and I'm like, I just don't have the tools for that. It's just not for me. I'm not coming to your boat and polishing
Yo,
it.
you're setting up the. You're moved into the home already?
Yes.
And you're all set up?
Yes.
But are you still kind of like filling a corner or doing this or doing that?
We're kind of done. We got one more room.
You have
to
anything
furnish.
polished in the house? Are you like, yo, I'm polishing this
No.
butcher block right
No,
here?
nothing.
You got nothing polished in the crib.
I'm
Hold on
gonna-
1 second. You had something to say, Al?
Yes, all of that's hand work.
Say that again?
That's hand work.
Hand work?
Polish,
Yeah,
polish.
he's
Oh,
doing
yeah.
that by hand and with
Yes.
some machines.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
With buffing lathes and by hand and hand
That
tools.
looks good.
He does a great job.
Alpha president.
They look good, right? Say it
Yeah,
again. That look good.
look good.
Get southern on these dudes out here. Nothing polished in the house?
Nothing.
You don't want to stunt in the home a little bit? Like,
chrome
this is what I
ceiling
do?
fan.
Although it's funny, we have we bought like it's not a dresser, a TV stand, I guess you could say, in the living room, and then we have this coffee table by the couch, and it's a little low. And my wife was like, "Oh, just make matching legs that are on the TV stand and powder coat them gold, and then put it under." And I'm like, "I'm not fabricating shit for the house.
No.
I don't want to do that shit." But
I'm trying to go to IKEA.
Yeah, she's like, "Come on, just make it for that." But no, I don't have anything polished in the house.
Damn.
Nothing.
Maybe what? No, I bet you might now.
Maybe I'll put a fire extinguisher in the downstairs room.
just something
you know?
to represent what
Yeah.
got us here.
Yeah.
You polish a fire extinguisher.
Yeah. I got stuff in friends' houses and in my parents' house.
I saw. I think it was kind of crazy that you posted up a BMX frame that you did, and then you were like, "And I don't do BMX frames."
Yeah, I don't want.
I did.
can't.
Why'd you even post it? Because it was fun.
Because it's still fun to do it. Just because you're not going to offer it doesn't mean you shouldn't post it.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, maybe to some people, but not to me.
Why did you do it for that one person?
Well, shout out Andrew, who owns Meserole Shop. They're a great BMX shop. They have a lot of product, and Andrew's a big BMX guy, so they're a good shop to support.
They have a huge following.
They have a huge following. Andrew's got a big heart for BMX, and he has a lot of cool ideas. And he's one of those people that can get one over on me. If it's something I don't do, I'll just do it for him. I don't care.
You're a good friend.
The problem with it is, for me to chrome frames for people to put the time into doing them, it's just not cost effective. It's too much money for the customer,
Especially when you can go buy a chrome one for like $400.
if it's even available. But I get it. Like
$500
if we're talking
maybe.
about an old GT and you're restoring it, like I get it. It might be priceless, but it's just one of those things where like I hate to charge someone to do that, so I just don't do it. I just stay away from it. It's not really making the shop proper money, and it's not lucrative or going to bring in a large amount of business. So I just stay away from it. But
That's cool.
You know, if a friend needs it and I like them enough, I might do it.
Hey, listen, for proof of who listened to this podcast, because I guess we're almost done. Anyone of Nick's friends with a BMX frame, I want you to hit him up to polish that shit or chrome or whatever
Some of
you
them do,
want.
man. Some of them do.
And he's gonna do them if you talk to him properly. You tell him he's handsome and he's a good friend, and he's gonna polish that shit up. Do we want to talk about what you're taking out of here? Or do we want to keep that
You can talk about
on
it.
the low?
Yeah, you can talk about
You
it.
taking the ramp?
I'm taking the rant.
Okay.
I'm taking the rant.
And you're going to set it. When do you think that you'll have that built up?
I don't know, maybe
A year?
No, maybe when spring comes around, because the shop will be up and that'll be done, and then I could try to squeeze that in. I'd like to have something in the yard to run.
I have a little present sitting on my. Is it a kitchen table? What's the table that you throw the shit on but you never eat on?
I don't know.
I have like
Whatever.
a counter
Yeah,
kitchen
counter-
thing, and then I
countertop,
have a
kitchen
table that I just put stuff on. But I have a nice little present for you there to go
Oh,
with
yeah.
the ramp.
Okay.
That I didn't want to bring in because when I give somebody something, I like to hand write a note and this is so. And I can't really force that.
Never knew you were so
but
sentimental.
I am. You don't know me, dog. Yo, am I sentimental? Guy over there. I am a little sentimental. But I got you something, and
Hell yeah.
it's really cool.
Thank you.
It's cool.
All right, cool.
I'm gonna-
I'm taking the rant.
I'm gonna send. I'm probably just gonna ship it to you when I feel like writing you a note. So, yo, Nick, are we? Is there anything you want to get out there? You want anybody to know anything?
I don't know. It's so like
I think
never know
this-
what to say
I
on
think
the
this
spot
went
like
very
that.
well.
yeah.
I think we
so.
did. Like this was
We
better than
finished
the
up.
last time, for sure.
Oh well, yeah. The end of the last one took a turn. Yeah.
Listen, everybody, we're going to tell everybody why we did a part 2 and we didn't do this in
You
one
tell 'em.
part.
Go ahead.
Is
Secret's out.
the camera got cut off. We didn't know. We've never done this before. So apparently a camera shuts off at 29 minutes to cool down. And we actually did an hour and 45 minutes the last time. But we didn't notice. And here the cat can come out of the back because we all got hammered last time, and this is from moving forward. This will be a sober thing, and we ain't really smoking weed on here and drinking 18 Coronas and that type of thing. And I think it goes way better. But I'm glad that it got cut off because we have the audio, and we all sound like idiots. And I said, "Did you listen to the audio?"
Damn.
You? Okay, we have the audio. And I sound like the biggest idiot because I was the furthest down the road, if you will. But
We were all following though.
yeah, it got a little loose, and
It was still fun though.
I ended up at a Popeyes for $50 and some other places afterward, and we ain't doing that no more. But anyway,
You're still gonna go to Popeyes after this. What do you?
nah, I don't really. What did we eat today?
I
that
like
wasn't
Church's
that good?
chicken. That's a Southern thing. Church's chicken is the same thing as Popeyes, but it's like
Church's chicken.
Yes.
We got U.S. fried chicken up the way here. Is that what we get a lot of U.S. fried chicken?
Kennedy. I'm a big Crown Fried guy.
Okay. I was going to say there's a video online at U.S. fried chicken, but I don't want to pump a shitty narrative. Some guy had a machete in there like 4 or 5 years ago, I think. It was just getting crazy. But anyway, can we cut that part out? I think that was ridiculous for me to mention that.
We are in Patterson.
And no, Patterson has been great to us. We like it here.
It used to be the silk capital of the world.
And everybody should check out the falls if they come here too, because it's
We talked about that last time.
yeah, and the
They're real
stadium.
nice, right?
Say again?
The falls are really nice.
The
right?
falls are
Yeah.
really nice, and it's cool. And what's the stadium next to the falls? Costello? I'm sorry, I don't know it.
Hinchcliffe Stadium.
Hinchcliffe.
yeah.
Is that what it is? Hinchcliffe.
Hinchcliffe.
There's an old stadium up there. They just what's that, Al?
I don't think so. I don't know.
There's a stadium by the Patterson Falls.
What about a fall there?
Yeah, Hinchcliffe.
That's Kennedy.
I think that they had like the black minor leagues when it was segregated.
It's called the Negro Leagues.
Used to play whatever. Sorry,
That stadium is east.
they just redid it. Everybody should go up there and check it out. It's really cool. It's historical. The falls are
It's by the
crazy.
fall.
Yeah, it's by the falls.
Okay.
The
Are
fall.
you a Yankee fan or a Mets fan?
Don't fuck this up.
That's Kennedy.
So I'm not a sports fan at
Okay,
all.
that's fair.
Me neither, but you could still pick.
but
You're like Italian. That kind of comes with like the birth thing. I
out of
guess.
respect to some family members and my
Oh, don't fuck this
my
up.
late father-in-law.
How about
I'm
out
a
of
Mets
res-
fan.
Okay,
Oh my god.
let's go, Mets. They're doing better than the Yankees, that's for sure.
I was gonna say, how about out of respect for Malali Skate Park? We're a Yankees fan.
Yeah,
It's
wow.
right there. You know.
I've only been to Malali's a couple times.
It's cool.
And the last time I was there, I felt bad. We talked about last
It.
time.
I got
No,
hurt
that wasn't
there.
the last
I
time,
got,
but
I
that
got
was-
hurt there.
Yeah.
That's a really cool
Shout out
place.
Malali's, though. That's a great park.
It's Foster
That's a
Bike
great
Park now, right?
Yeah, we call it Malali.
Yeah, that's what
It's
I
for-
thought.
Foster
Malali's.
Wendell. Actually, the reason they changed it is Malali was like a slave owner or something.
Staten
So
Island kids
they
never
changed
went
it
there.
to
We would never go there because one of the more than one, a couple of like the older generation riding kids on Staten Island, they got beat they got robbed and beat really bad.
Oh, yeah, it was a
At
while.
Malali?
Way back, yeah, Malali.
It's still-
So if you brought it up, everyone was like, "We ain't going there. We're not."
You guys
going
have that
there."
Soto
So we were all
Park, right?
scared of it. Yeah. It
Shout
sucks
out to
now.
the Bronx.
It was like
For
it was a
setting
metal
for setting the
bowl, right? Like
precedent.
a round
It was a lot.
bowl. It was on the beach.
What, the Staten Island one? Yeah,
Yeah,
it had a lot.
Favorite
It
skate
was a
park?
great park.
Favorite skate park?
That's a great question. Favorite skate park of all time, East Coast Terminal, which is
Oh,
going.
wow.
I like the rattier the park, the better. Second place, I'll give Hackettstown.
Woo! Shout out to Hackettstown.
Shout out to Hackettstown. But those two parks,
Have you ever been to the one in Stamford, Scalzi?
I don't think I have.
It's
That one's real
really
fun.
I don't
fun.
think- I've been to a lot of places though.
It's
so.
really fun. We used to go up there. It's about an hour and 20 minutes away. It's real chill. It's a huge bowl.
If it's a
fun.
DIY park, like
No.
like a quick setup type of place or something like that, I love that too. I like anything that's like
Janky?
sketchy and
Yeah.
It's just
Oh, yo, we got 3 minutes left, so let's kill it.
Okay.
Nick, I'd like you to come back after the move to tell us how shit's going, stuff's going. Would you do that?
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Al. Thank you. Say thanks for having me. Goodbye.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Al. Sean, I guess thank you. Nick, thank you. Behind the scenes guy, thank you. Zeus, thank you. Everybody, if you made it this far, thank you very much for listening and giving us a chance, and we're getting better each time. Have a great night.